What's up, guys? Ooh, tricky. What's up, guys? Welcome to First Live Security. Wow. Yeah, figure it out. I'm not sure. There we go. Is that better? We'll see. Wow, this is bad. Things you learn. Got that muted. Well, it's a good thing I haven't done anything useful yet. I have no idea why that is. Does that work better? Let's try that. Can you hear me okay? Better? All right, well, I don't hear my echo. So now that I totally screwed up the opening of this, guys, let's, thank you, Dave. Guys, do you know what your purpose is? Do you know your why? Have you figured it out yet? Are you the person you want to be? Well, my name is Brent, and I'm the Fallible Man, and I make content to help men answer questions just like that. Welcome to the Fallible Man first live stream, which I've totally screwed up the audio on. That's what I get for going live the first time. And guys, if you're joining us on the live stream, welcome. And if you're watching this on the replay, hey, be sure and sound off down in the comments below. I would love to know that you watch this on the replay. Just give us a shout out and let us know what's going on. And guys, today in this live stream, our first ever live stream, you're gonna have to tell me if you like the live stream or if you're not into the live streams. Today, we're gonna answer a few of your questions about what the Fallible Man is. But, well, we'll see how it goes, right? If you guys like live streams, you better shout out, let me know. Talk to me in the comments. I am short an engineer tonight, so we'll see how well I do this by myself. The real talent is my wife. She's the one who sits in the background and manages all this stuff, but we'll get going. Guys, Michael Jackson said this. I even have it here for you. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make a change. Now, guys, you don't have to like Michael Jackson and what you think of him. Hi, Michael. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for joining. What you think of Michael Jackson personally, I can't really say, okay? I'm not going to pick a side on the man, but he had a really good point. The only thing in this world we totally control is ourselves. I mean, that is what you have control over, right? So here at the Fallible Man, our approach to life is, well, let's be the best that we can be. Let's be the best person we can be. Let's be the best man we can be, the best husband, the best father. Whatever role you feel in your life right now, we want to support you here at the Fallible Man. Now, I only scripted out so much of this live stream, guys, because I'm looking forward to getting some questions and being able to answer questions on the fly. So make sure and put them in there if you have them, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go. Like I said, my wife usually watches over things like this for me and tells me, hey, you're screwing up. So stick with me. We'll try to answer your questions. But guys, tonight I want to answer some questions I get commonly about the Fallible Man, because I have people stop me when we're talking and I start talking about what I do, and they're like, oh, what is that? And so we're going to start with some really common questions, and we'll go on from then. And hopefully we'll pick up some questions along the way. So the first question I always get asked is, well, what is the Fallible Man? And to put it simply, guys, the fallible man is me, it's you, it's everybody. It's every man. You see, I called it the fallible man for the reason that I'm not perfect. I know I'm not. Man, I don't even claim to have all the answers, guys. But I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey to be the best person I can be. And part of that is accepting that I'm imperfect. So I created the fallible man as part of my journey that's just moved and grown into more than that. Now, what it is it's just a movement. It's a movement to understand that men need some support these days, right? Men get vilified a lot these days. It's kind of crazy. But in a world that seems to be turning on men at the moment. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining. I'll get to your question in just a few minutes, I promise. In a world that is really focused right now on negatively putting men in a bad frame, I wanted to create something to help support men like you and me and everybody out there. Because, guys, we can be as tough as we want to be, but the truth is we all need some support at some point. We all need some encouragement. And so I wanted to make something that catered to that. Now, how do we get here? How do we get to the fallible man? Well, this actually started with a trip a couple of years ago for me. And I went down to watch one of my nieces graduate high school. That's right, Michael. Specifically, white men in America have been targeted lately. And not to say that all men aren't targeted, because I see a lot of men of all races get hammered down over just being a guy. You can't even be a guy. But it seems like there is a bigger target on white males in the U.S. currently. This started with my niece, and I went down to watch her graduate high school a couple of years ago, and I met her boyfriend. And he was a really nice kid, but he was very lacking. I'll try and be nice, because he was a nice kid, but he was very lacking. And I talked to my brother about it, and he told me the kid's story. I mean, he doesn't have a male role model in his life. He's going to church and trying to build those relationships, but he's grown up most of his life without a positive male role model. And I started thinking about it because I have 7 nieces, guys. I am blessed with nieces, apparently. I have 7 nieces, and I started thinking about that. It's like, well, if she's struggling with finding a guy that is been raised to be a man, because biologically, if you're born with the right genitalia, you're a male. Straight to it, guys. Let's not even mess around with that. Biology makes you masculine. Masculinity is a balance of chemicals in your body. What makes you a man is who you become. Every boy is born a boy. They don't automatically become a man just because they get older. They grow up to become men. That is something that is learned. Any guy can still be a guy, but to become a man, it's being grown and raised in the right environment to become a person who contributes to the world, to become a person who is a healthy part of society and brings something to the table instead of taking it away. That is becoming a man, because that's what men do. Men, if you look at history, build. Men raise things up and grow. Well, guys, I just saw this lack of it, but it goes back because I started looking at that, and I have 2 small daughters. I've got a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I'm thinking about guys coming down the line for them. And I'm thinking about all the teenage girls I managed to work with over the years as a youth minister and as a volunteer, and the men that are out there for them. And even several years ago, it was a problem finding healthy young men who were being raised to become men. And that is where the fallible man started out. So we're going to jump into a question. Let's see, I think I can put this on the screen. Look at that. Hey, Katie Powell wants to know, how can we best support our husbands as they work things out? That is actually a really hard question, because every guy is a little bit different. Men will tell you generally what they need. Okay. But the last thing you want to do is push. Okay, it's good. Men need to learn to talk, and we are bad about talking. We are bad about opening up. But that is because as a society, we tell men that it makes them weak if they open up. We tell men that they're weak if we share our emotions or even admit that we have feelings. And then women complain that we don't show emotion. But the minute we do, we're considered weak. So we're not trained to show our feelings. We are trained to bottle them up. We have them. We're just trained to contain them. And to an extent, that's not a bad thing, because men need to practice a level of stoicism. They need to be able to control their emotions and think rationally and think with a clear head and not let that emotion cloud their decision-making and their judgment. But then they also need to go back and deal with that emotion. And that's the part we don't teach men. We don't teach them that after they've thought clearly, that after they've worked through the problem, they need to actually deal with that remainder of emotion that is there and recognize what emotion that is. So the best way you can support your husband is to listen. And he isn't speaking the same language you do most of the time, just because we're not, right? It's the whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing. But he is telling you what he needs. He will be obvious when he wants the comfort. And it may not be as clear as saying, hey, I could really use some support right now. But he will be obvious when he wants comfort. He will also be pretty obvious when he needs some space to work through it. And as they're working through it, the best thing you can do is keep our world stable. We don't give enough recognition sometimes to our wives. When we're working through things, one of the biggest things you can do for us is continue and maintain the norm for us. Move life through. Take care of the things you normally take care of. And David's right. Don't make us feel dumb. We're just not speaking the same language. And guys, I've got an entire series on being a better husband. And one of those things we talk about the difference in the way men and women communicate and the way men and women think. So be sure and check that out. I'll see about putting a link. I always do it on the wrong side of the screen. I'm backwards. Over here after the live stream, and check out that playlist on being a better husband. But keep the norm for him. You are, whether you realize it or not, his stability and his anchor point. And as long as you are maintaining the norm somewhat, he'll find his way home. That's one of the most important things that women can do for us, especially our wives, is you are our anchor point. And so we'll find our way home as long as you maintain that status of being that foundation for us to come back to. Promise, we'll make it there. Let's see. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Yep, absolutely. I totally agree with you, Dave. So moving in, did I get Michael's question? Let's see. No, I didn't. Nope. Sorry if I'm looking away from the screen, guys. I'm trying to make sure I'm answering questions here. Okay, how can the ladies in our lives help us support us if we are single? We don't have anyone to maintain norms if we are single. That is a good question, because you can't. A wife is a very different thing than the other women in your life. But chances are you still have women in your life who help you maintain a norm, whether you realize it or not. It is those female friendships that, they've been in your life and they're more like a sister. Sometimes we have almost like adopted moms that help stabilize our lives, but it is a different dynamic entirely from a spouse. Don't know if that helps. So the Fallible Man is based on the principles of incremental improvement. I got banners all over the place and I can't see anything. Nope. Okay. I'm just going to stop being fancy and concentrate on talking. Sarah had an answer for you, looks like, Dave. There you go. Yeah. Maybe the women in your life can help check in with you regularly and ask how you're doing and follow up with you and provide some support that way. So thank you. My wife is checking in, so hopefully I can stop paying quite as much attention to all the fancy camera tricks I'm learning over this. So the Fallible Man is built on incremental improvement, guys. And if you're not familiar with the idea of incremental improvement, the best way I can make that clear or explain it to you is incremental improvement is a whole lot like gaining muscle in the gym, right? Most guys have worked out at some point in their lives. They may not work out right now, but at some point they were in the gym, whether that was in high school or in college, or at some point, most guys spend some time in the gym. And as someone who trains people from time to time, helping my clients see that they are improving. Sorry if I'm sweating like a dog, guys. It's the hottest room in the house and I have the doors closed, so my kids don't actually stumble into my live stream. But most of your people don't see their own improvements, and it's because they're looking for big improvements, right? It's just like starting a new habit. Someone will decide they need to go on a diet, and they go from eating a whole bunch of junk to a super strict diet. And then a week later, if that long, they totally blow their diet and they give up. It's like, oh, I can't do this. It's because you try to make a big jump. It's an unrealistic jump. Incremental improvement is adding another rep with the same weight you've been working with. It's taking a shorter rest period between sets. It's adding a half pound. It's not feeling as gassed when you walk out of the gym. That is incremental improvement. Now, guys, I'm not asking men to grow themselves overnight. Men grow like trees, like old oak trees. Okay, think of the redwoods in California. They grow over time. And as they grow and develop, it's slow transformation. But think about this, right? This is one of the things we foundationally teach at the Fallible Man is pick one little thing, okay? And I'm talking one simple thing and improve it tomorrow. Then pick one more thing for the next day to improve, right? Instead of just chilling on your lunch break, listen to an audiobook or an educational podcast on your lunch break. Or I like to go for a walk. I eat lunch at my desk and then do laps around my building to get some exercise in because I sit all the time. I've fallen in love with audiobooks, and if you've never used Audible, guys, there's going to be a link in the description of the video on YouTube for a month-long trial with a free book, and you can cancel and still keep the free book. I love Audible, but audiobooks have been great because I can walk and listen at the same time, or I can drive my car and listen at the same time, right? Get up a little earlier if your goal is to get up, right? Pick small things, take them as wins. The Navy SEALs, one of the first things they're taught is to make their bed every single day. Now, these men are considered some of the biggest warriors, most awesome warriors in the world, but their primary fundamental teaching starts with making their bed every day. And that is because if you get up and make your bed, you start the day with one small win. You get up, you make your bed, you go brush your teeth, you drink 8 ounces of water. These are all small incremental improvements that build the foundation of success to start your day. So that is what we teach here at the Fallible Man is incremental improvement. Pick one small thing, but think about it in a bigger run than that, because 365 days a year, that's a lot of improvement every year. A lot of small improvements build up to a big improvement over time. Michael's asking, I love this program. What is a book you recommend to help with communicating better with kids, spouses, others as a man in our current world? One of the first ones I would recommend off the top of my head, Michael, I know you've already read because I know you, and that would be The 5 Love Languages. Now, that book is generally recommended for fixing romantic relationships or husband-wife relationships. But that book was beneficial for my wife and I, but that book was incredible because it helped me understand other people in my life, including coworkers. Once you understand the fundamentals of that book, you can really start to understand the people you're communicating with in the rest of your life as well. It doesn't take long to pick out what their love languages are, which improves your communication with them. Another one I would recommend, Sarah, will you see if you can throw it in? It's on one of the other videos. It's Women Are Waffles and Men Are Spaghetti. Hopefully my wife can pull that up for us and throw it into the chat or something. But I was first introduced to this book. That's 5 love languages. See if you can pull up the other one. My wife's going to barrage us with great books that I actually recommend. I have a series of, in my How to Be a Better Husband series, I actually recommend several books over the course of the series. And one of them is Women Are Waffles and Men Are Spaghetti. And in that book, you start to learn about the differences between the way men think and the way women think. And you start to understand the whole Mars versus Venus thing, because, man, the differences in the way we contemplate. And hey, Stephen, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining tonight. The difference in the way we communicate, because there we go. Men are like waffles. No, women are like waffles. Men are like spaghetti. No, she's right. See, this is why I shouldn't correct my wife. She's smarter than I am. Men are like waffles. Women are like spaghetti. And the base of the book teaches the fact that men think in a very compartmentalized way of thinking, right? We take everything and neatly tuck it into its proper place. And so it is there. And when we need it, we recall it, right? Think of the old movies where you see the ancient tape machine that is going and picking a tape and bringing it over here, and it reads that. And then it takes it away and grabs this. Men think in a very compartmentalized manner. It's one of the reasons that women think we're less emotional. It's because we isolate things separately and store them in their own neat little spaces. Well, women are like a plate full of spaghetti in the way they think. Because by Bill and Pam Farrell, if I said that right. Thank you, Sarah, for adding that to the chat. Women can start here, and my wife calls it ping pong brain. They can start over here and then move. But that strand of spaghetti, if you ever seen a giant plate of spaghetti, touches every other noodle. If you try and grab one off the bottom and pull it, you're going to touch every single noodle on that plate. And that is the way a woman's mind works. Not to say that it doesn't work for them, okay? That works just fine for them. I'm not bagging on women here. But as they pull, it touches everything it encounters and causes an emotional reaction to those things, as well as a memory and thought of those things. So when your wife is talking and 5 minutes later, you're completely confused about how you got to this particular point, this is what's happening, guys. Women start here, and it touches everything along the path. And she still remembers what you started with, but it's got to interact with everything that touches that strand along the way. And so if you haven't read that, Michael, be sure and check that book out. That was a wonder book for me for understanding the difference in the way my wife and I think and process things, and really has helped me personally to understand our conversations a lot better. There's another book I recommend, The Good Fight by Dr. Les and Leslie Parrott. You should certainly pick that up if you haven't read that. I got to sit in a live stream of one of their sessions on that book, and it was incredible. It's a great foundation to help your fights, because as spouses, you're going to fight, come out positive for both of you guys. We talked about the principle of incremental improvement. Now, incremental improvement can build more success every single day to help you start becoming who you want to be. At the beginning of the stream, I asked, do you know your why? And I just did an entire podcast about it, and it's over here at the end of the video. Knowing your why, your foundational principle of why, is huge. It will give you so much clarity. I also just released a video about 3 questions you should ask before you make any decisions. That was, start with your why, then ask yourself, does this bring more value than the energy it cost me, then ask yourself, if it was simple, what would it look like? Well, guys, these are foundational thoughts for what we're trying to accomplish here. This is what we're about. Is we're trying to get men to think and ask the questions to get where they want to be. I don't think any person is exactly where they want to be. I don't think any person has just landed to where they no longer need to grow, right? If you guys can't see the t-shirt, I make t-shirts. They're available on my website. But one of the things I have is a t-shirt that says, "Only dead things stop growing." Growth is a constant in this world, okay? Growth and death, right? We grow and then we eventually die. But that is one of the only constant things in this world is consistent growth. Only dead things don't grow, right? We've all seen stagnant water. So the first concern you need to have is if you've stopped growing, if you don't see a need to grow, you're in a dangerous place. You're in the era of complacency at that point. And that is a death sentence for guys. It kills ambition, it kills dreams, can kill your marriage, and it can kill your abilities as a parent. Now, I have a question of the show, because if you've seen any of my more recent podcasts, this is one of the formats we've added on. So let me get that there. Whoops, that's not it. All these tricky things, Sarah. Help me out. Okay, question of the show. What would you like to see us do a video or a podcast episode on? Share it in the comment section. Guys, we want to make videos that you want to see. We want to make videos that will help you in your life, in your journey, whether you're trying to improve yourself as a man in general, or specifically as a grandfather or a father or a husband or a brother. You know what? There are sibling relationships, and that's reality, right? My brother and I sometimes see things from a different direction. We see things at a different point of view, right? That's just it. So communication is, oh, I think we just piped in with communications, one we want to see. I'll have to go through here and take notes later, guys. But guys, comment and let us know what kind of videos we can make to help you in your walk as a man. How can we strengthen you? How can we support you? What kind of information can we present to you that will help? If you don't know our show or haven't spent a lot of time with our show, we run multiple formats, guys. So if this is your first time joining us, and I know we got people joining us from Facebook, we got people joining us on YouTube, and thank you guys for jumping in tonight and spending a little time with me. I really appreciate it. Yes, it is, Michael. Start With Why is an excellent book. Reading and talking at the same time. I don't know if I can walk and chew bubblegum, much less read and talk. So I was talking about platforms. Guys, if you're new to our little community, if you're new to our movement, we not only have YouTube, okay, we have 3 videos a week we do on YouTube. This is our first live stream. Normally on Mondays, I have a piece of one of the podcasts that I cut down to a 3 to 5 minute segment, just as quick snack tidbits to blow through real quick if you don't have time to sit down for the full podcast. On Wednesdays, we have the full podcast, guys, and I do a lot of interviews. I try and connect with men who bring something to our community. Author Stephen Crane is joining us in the comment section on Facebook right now. I appreciate Stephen being here. I just had a great conversation with him about his book. I Can Appreciate That. And be sure and check out that podcast. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed having him. Hopefully we're going to have him back soon to talk specifically about parenting, because he's done a lot with his own kids and with the foster system, and I'm looking forward to that conversation. But we try and bring in guests that have something to offer you. I've had a wide array of guests so far, and we're not afraid to, push the comfort levels a little bit. We had intimacy expert Susan Bratton on a while back to talk about how to put the spark back in your marriage. Susan has been on all of the talk shows, all of the news channels, and has made the rounds and considers herself an intimacy expert to millions. And we had a really candid conversation with her. I may have blushed a lot during that particular podcast. But guys, I'm trying to bring on people to offer you something, to encourage you, to offer you insights, to bring you some great books. And Michael, you could add that to your reading list. I can appreciate that. It was a terrific, fun read. It was easy to read. And then on Fridays, we generally do a standalone video. I try and keep them shorter because my podcasts are 30 to 40 minutes long. And that's after I edit them down. I hate editing my podcast, guys. I'm a one-man show at this, so I do all my own post-production. I have started putting the unedited full-length version of the podcast on Patreon for my Patreon supporters. They also get a lot of input onto what kind of content we create. So if you're looking for more there, there's always that option. But I always hate cutting down because I have these great conversations with these guys. Then I have to try and cut them down for the YouTube world to get them down to 30 or 40 minutes. And often I have a lot more than that I've had these conversations with these guys. On Fridays, our standalone videos, we've been doing some series. I just did a standalone video on the 3 questions you need to ask yourself before you make any decisions that will change your life, guys. It really will. I swear. It's a 3-minute video, and those 3 questions can completely reshape your life. It's incredible. But we've done a series on being a better husband. I did a 4 or 5-part series on teaching your children about finances because that's something I found is lacking. I know I wasn't taught about finances growing up, and the school system doesn't teach about it. And so it's something I've undertaken with my children. And so I've kind of documented that into a couple short little videos. We have a series going on the most important qualities of a good leader. That is, I think, 2 videos in. I have 4 more to film still, so there's more to come with that one, guys. But we're not just on YouTube. We also do have a podcast, weekly podcast on all major platforms, Spotify, Google, you name it. It's all there. We also have 8 social media platforms. I kind of hate social media, but to be relevant and to get the message out there, guys, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on something called Minds. Let's see, I'm on Pinterest. Anybody do Pinterest? Comment, let it sound off in the comments if you actually do Pinterest still. I'm on Twitter, as much as I hate Twitter. I'm on Parler. And I actually am really excited. I just had a company with a new social media platform coming out reach out to me to be a part on that upcoming platform called Wisdom. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to give me some good opportunities to be able to interact with men on a one-on-one basis. And so we're really excited about what's happening there. If you've been to our website, I built it and I hate it, guys. So you have a dream board on Pinterest? Okay. And my wife's still on Pinterest. We got a couple. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting us know I'm not alone. Sometimes I feel like Pinterest is a complete waste of my time. And then I think, okay. I'm on TikTok. I still don't understand that, but I'm on TikTok now. But our website is getting ready for a major remodel because we want our website to support men even more. I'm actually looking to open both a forum on the website where men can have discussions and talk about things that matter to them. I'm not a big fan of Facebook groups, only because I don't own that. Facebook can cut that off at any time. So we're going to put a forum on the new website when I finish it. It is in progress right now. We're also going to start having reviews, and I'm actually looking for some guys who want to help with that process. As a man, if you have come across a product that is beneficial to you, that has improved your life for a reasonable price, I want to open that up where men can share those as well, just to help other men, right? If you know something that helps as a young father, and this was like the most incredible thing you had when your kids were little, then, sharing a review with that can help other young fathers who are coming up. Social media is actually a really great tool. I just particularly don't enjoy social media. I actually was doing some research the other day. and found out that, and I just went blank on his name. If I hadn't tried to think of it, I'd be fine. The guy who wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. I was listening to a video of his, and he has one-way social media apps, which I had never heard of before. Maybe you have, where he can't actually browse his social media, but he can't upload to his social media. So that way he doesn't get lost in it and lose time thumbing through his social media. But we're having a big rebuild of the website, and hopefully that's going to bring some new features where we can serve men better. And I'm always looking for people who want to be a part of that. We have merchandise. Right now we actually have a sale on Amazon.com. Tim Ferriss, thank you, dear. Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. He's actually written several books that were most excellent. I would highly encourage you guys to check out some of those books, especially if you're looking at trying to find some balance in your business and personal relationship. We have merch on sale on Amazon.com right now, but guys, we have way more shirts on our website. We also have merchandise. You too can get a Fallible Man coffee mug for the podcast, or any number of other things. But guys, I don't want to sell stuff to get rich. I want to sell stuff because people believe in what we're doing, because people are encouraged by what we're doing, and they want to represent that and share that with other people. I want people to wear our shirts because they want to have that conversation when someone goes, "Oh, that's a cool shirt. Where'd that come from?" And they have an opportunity to share what we're doing here. I about covered everything I plan on covering, guys. Do you have any more questions tonight? This is a trip to try and live stream. Post a list of all the recommended books that you mentioned listed somewhere on the website. All right, that's a really good idea. So we will have the Fallible Man library, books we endorse and recommend. What do you guys think about that? Any other questions? Guys, I appreciate you all taking the time to join us today. Thanks for stumbling through, or letting me stumble through, my first live stream. I was a little anxious about doing this, but I don't know. Hey, leave me a comment. Shout out if you like this platform. Shout out if you like the idea of live streams because you like connecting with who you're talking to better or who you're listening to. Thank you for your support. Guys, be better tomorrow because of what you do today. And I will see you guys on the next one.
This has been the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for everything man, husband, and father. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com for more.